Hello.
Hey, Dave.
Going?
Rusty,
Hello, how's everybody doing?
good. How are you, Howard? Hey, Rusty or Carson, either you going to Mystic on Friday?
Yep,
We'll
I will be there.
see you
We'll
there.
be there.
All right.
Actually, I'll get there a little late. I had a meeting come up at 8:30, so after that meeting, I'll be there.
Okay.
Carson, is that your office? That's cool.
It is. You should stop by sometime.
I think we're going to have to.
Yeah,
Wow.
I'd like to do a mic check. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Great.
Well, I can also hear you across the hall too. So.
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
oh,
Hi, Kim. Hi, Sydney.
Hello. So we'll go around and do some introductions, but I just wanted to let you know we have a group, a small group, small but special group here in person in the library. Right.
Maybe getting a little backfeed in the library.
Is anybody else online? No. We'll close the door and see if that helps.
Phil, welcome aboard.
Nice to see everybody.
So as customary, the new guy always has to give like a 5-minute discussion of their hopes and dreams prior to the meeting. So
So that means we'll set you guys 10 minutes behind schedule.
yeah. No, look, I really welcome you to the group, and feel free to ask questions and interject, and don't be shy. We have, what do we got? We got Darren, we got John, we got Phil. We got me. I'm bad at math, but I think we have a quorum, right? Darren.
Yes, yes, you do.
Thank you.
4, 6, yeah.
Great. And I know Greg said he was going to try and join in for the first 20 minutes.
Howard, I'm not forcing you to go more than an hour, but just I do have another meeting at 6, so I will quietly can't leave the meeting at just before 6, just for my other one. So.
Yeah, I'm really hoping to try and get these meetings quicker now that we've gotten a lot of the issues resolved. So yeah, my goal is to not take much longer.
Okay, but if something comes up after I leave, just let me know.
Oh, and we have John Cross is in the library. Excellent. Great. Let me just open up the agenda. There you go. For whatever reason, my agenda is not opening up. There we go. Okay, good. Sydney, are we ready to go?
Sydney left the room. Let's see. Yeah, we're on.
Okay. Let's start with the agenda. Start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag.
United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so I should start with this is a remote meeting, Regional School District 13 Board of Education regular meeting. of the building committee, November 19th, 2025, 5 p.m. And what I'd like to do is open this up to item number 2, public comment. Are there any members of the public either online or in person?
I think there are. Let's see. There are online participants. If anyone would like to comment, please raise your hand.
Okay. And nobody in person. What I would like to do, Kim, I forgot to do this. I'd like to take a roll call for OWL purposes.
Somebody did raise their hand.
Oh, somebody did? Oh, fantastic.
Oh, Angela Cahill. Let me see if I can unmute.
I can't see her online.
I don't know what I'm doing. I'm sorry. Angela, can you unmute? I'm sorry, we'll have to wait for Sydney to get back. I don't know how to do this.
All right. Let's why don't we just go through our attendees?
Are
and just do a roll
they
call.
on as panelists or are they on as something else?
Participants.
I think they need to promote them to a panelist, maybe.
Let me see. Angela.
Cahill?
Yeah, Angela Cahill. We'll see her.
Are you having tech issues?
We're looking, yes. Sorry, how's that? Oh, here's Angela. Allow to talk. Angela.
Hi, I'm here now. How's everyone?
Very good.
Great.
Thanks. So this is my first time seeing the OWL on the receiving end. It's actually really neat how it scrolls and zooms in the meeting room. So it's a nice experience.
Is there a delay, Howard, or does it seem to be?
It seems to be pretty quick. So this is great.
Yeah, it's accurate.
Great. So let's start with a roll call, right, Sydney?
Yes, thank you. And our transcriptionist thanks you for that.
Great. Howard Weisberg, Building Committee.
Eric Proya, Facilities.
Lindsay Dahlheimer, Board of Ed.
John G. Mateo, Building Committee.
John Cross, Building Committee. Bob Moore, Board of Ed.
Kim Newbig, Director of Finance.
Sydney Leggett, Superintendent.
Lucy Petrello, Board of Ed.
Jamie Rohrbeck, Board of Ed.
Darren Overton, Building Committee.
Phil Dwyer, Building Committee.
Okay.
Parsing.
Yep.
Parsing, Collier, QA&M.
Yeah, let's get QA&M and O&G and STV on as well.
Rusty Malik, QAM.
Mark Sedansky, O&G Industries.
Dan Hetzler, O&G Industries.
Dave Cravanzola, O&G Industries.
Marnie Liska, STV.
Angela Cahill, STV.
Awesome. Very good. It's always good getting through that part. So let's go to Ed. Did we get everybody?
Russ. There's a Russ online. I don't, is that somebody that we need to do an intro or is that public?
Public.
Okay, thanks.
I didn't see.
And Greg just signed on.
Oh, fantastic. So we'll have Greg introduce himself and then we'll just query the public to see if they would like to say anything during public comment.
Greg looks like he's mute.
Yeah. Greg, do you want to do a quick introduction if you can hear us?
Apparently not.
Okay.
That's okay. And you said there
He's
was.
on as an attendee. Do we have to promote him?
I did.
Unmute? Okay.
I did not see Russ online, but if there is a member of the public online that wants to say anything, this is their opportunity. Okay. Let's go to approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda, Lindsay.
Okay. Can I get a second?
Second, John G. Mateo.
Fantastic. John G. Mateo seconded. Once again, motion to approve the agenda. Any discussion? No discussion. Can I have a vote to approve the agenda?
Aye.
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 That is approved. All right. Now, approval of 2 minutes, sets of minutes, the minutes from actually 3 sets of minutes, October 8th, October 15th, October and November 5th, 2025. They were all in the link provided in the email. Can I have a motion can I approve all 3 at once?
Yep, motion to approve all 3 minutes as presented.
All right. Can I have a second?
Second.
Okay, we have a motion to approve the minutes of October 8th, October 15th, and November 5th, 2025 on the table. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great, motion passes. Fantastic. Now on to the good stuff. Memorial renovation and expansion. 3, do we want to have a general discussion before we go into the votes? Kim, Kim, Rusty, Mark, what are your thoughts?
If there's an update that Rusty and Carson or Mark or Dan want to talk about, but I think we can do that under Dan can do it under the PCO. Carson and Rusty, is there anything you wanted to update?
Yeah, Carson, when did you do an update?
Yeah, so general update on the project. The design team continues to charge ahead, working towards our construction document deadline for the month of December at that point. I think prior to this meeting, we worked on kind of getting 3 quotes for a third-party independent building code review as required by the OGA state process, as well as a third-party structural peer review. So we assisted the district in getting those quotes, which I believe are in your receipt, to be voted on tonight for further discussion that will take place afterwards. General update from a site standpoint. We did resubmit our revised P&Z documents this past Monday to them, and we are on schedule to have our P&Z meeting this coming Monday evening at that point. So we are on the docket for that approval. So we will keep this group informed as to how that goes. Hopefully everything will go well based off of what we've been hearing. We've provided the necessary feedback to the overall group there.
Carson, what was in those? What were the revisions in that?
They were based off the third-party engineering comments.
Okay.
If you'd like, I can send that copy over to you if you'd like, which shows just our team's responses, kind of some clarifications to the drawings that they had there.
Oh, that would be fantastic. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay. I can follow up with that afterwards. Yep. I also received an email notification that yesterday afternoon, we did formally submit our OSTA application. So that is in and in the process of being processed at that point.
Oh, fantastic. Great news.
Yep. So that's the general update from the design team.
Great. Darren, John, Eric, any questions on the design?
No.
At this point?
No.
Okay.
We went through MEPs also virtually, and everything looks good so far.
Okay, great. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, we had that meeting. We did. Yeah. If you want to give Eric, you want to give a quick recap of that meeting? Just a very.
Yeah, we met with the design team, Mark from ONG and RZ, and went through building systems, HVAC, heating, cooling, touched on plumbing, electrical, and I think from day one, that part of this project was pretty seamless. RZ is very good and did their homework. Also went over the diesel fire pump, and no objections from our end.
Great. John,
Yeah,
anything?
it was good package, Howard. Very happy with the MEP design as it's presented.
Excellent. I'd like to add that we did have a discussion about solar. Now that we have more flat roofs on the project, it does open up greater potential for solar. Solar will be done independent of this project, but what we wanted to do was make sure that everything we were doing optimized our ability to add solar at a later date. So it seems like we're on target for that. Anything else from the team that was on that meeting?
No, the only thing that I'll add from ONG is we received I'll call it the phase 2, which is demo abatement, gear and generator. We received the documents on November 10th as scheduled. ONG estimating is putting together an estimate, to present to this group at some point, but more in preparation for the state PCR, which we will need an estimate to go up there with as well. And that I believe is scheduled for December 10th. So
okay, great.
Yeah, we should have the estimate first week of, I'm actually looking at the schedule right now. First week of December, the end of the first week of December, we should have that estimate. The demo and the abatement goes quick. We just need for the gear and the generator, we need to reach out to some outside vendors.
Great. Awesome. All right. If there's no other, yeah. Oh, do you want
sorry,
to? You go ahead.
I don't know if you wanted me to just follow up on the question about the windows.
Yes, the windows and then the tree.
Yep. So we did get the report in as requested about the tree with the need to remove the tree, and that we did due diligence and trying to look at their health and their history and everything. And we have that report as our backup documentation. And thank you, Eric, for getting that done. And then the other thing is that I was asked to follow up with John Manone about the like storefront windows as opposed to the open and closing. And he agreed completely that that is the safer way to go. It's better to just keep the envelope of the building secure.
Excellent. That cleans up two design questions very well. So great. If there's no other questions or concerns, we can go on to 5A, vote on potential change order. ONG, do you want to, who wants to take that? Is that Mark?
In here.
It's Dan.
Yeah, so I forwarded over the 4 additional PCOs as we move through the closeout of the swing space first phase work. In those 4 proposals, I have listed PCO 5, which is a closeout of the utility cost allowance. We carried a $1,500 cost. The return of $738 is the net of the PCO. The second PCO shared is PCO number 6, which is the second and last allowance in the trade contract with Diversity Construction. We track their labor and materials through the effort to repair the wood floors and sill framing on portables 1 and 2. Ran over the carried allowance by $2,851 as a net with their O&P. PCO number 7 is the supplemental work that was needed on the exteriors of the building. As you may recall, as we were getting into that work, there was some additional work that wasn't called for on the drawings related to the ramp at Portable 1. And then it carried forth with review of the exterior stairs coming out of the 4 existing portables. They wanted at a minimum the planking replaced but as we pulled the planking apart, essentially the assemblies fell apart. So that's a complete rebuild of the 4 units, exterior stairs, and then that ramp that I initially mentioned. In the backup of the PCO, as we entered the work, we coded everything that our field work was doing. So I provided verification of timesheets, as well as all the materials purchased for that. It did run higher than I had initially anticipated. I think I threw out a number to Howard at the time of about 13,000.
Mark, I'm having a hard, or maybe it's Dan. Dan, I'm having a hard time hearing you. Or is it mine?
Right? I'm not sure. Sometimes I have good audio and other times
it could be me. Sorry.
Don't.
It's clear on my end.
Oh, great. So unfortunately, we did run over on the line item. But again, the backup is there, and there's nothing more than our actual cost incurred. The last PCO is number 8.
What was the difference on that one?
So the total cost to the project is $23,702.
Okay.
PCO number 8. Back at the time of scope review, we were discussing alternative foundation systems. Diversity Construction had gotten an alternative bid or an opportunity from their foundation contractor to utilize a different system. Instead of drilled piers, there was a substantial savings if we were to use a helical pile. The helical piles were designed by a registered engineer, became a delegated design. So all of your paperwork wise on the engineering and the inspection, they self-performed an inspection. They hired their own third-party inspector to inspect. We also reached out to the third-party testing agent that the town had hired. So we have backup documentation from both groups that verify the installation of those foundations. And the net credit that I was able to secure from that was a credit to the project of $94,779.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
94,779 credit.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yep.
Good job.
Dan, was that discussed during scope review?
Yeah, it was initially brought up at scope review, and then
I'm trying to take credit from Dan.
No credit for you, Mark.
Well, you get the negative feedback, so you might as well get some positive feedback too, right? Keep it even.
Okay.
Sydney, can we try to unmute Greg? He's been trying. The meeting link didn't work, so he's under the attendees.
He's not under the attendees. It looks like he signed off.
Yeah, he must have just signed off. Okay.
That would be the net of the 4 PCOs being presented for approval or action this evening. I did, in my correspondence to Howard and Kim, let them know that I still am chasing. There's 3 pending PCOs to close out phase 1. One is about a $6,000 credit that for the heat trace materials. They used an alternative supplier, and I'm awaiting the backup to process that change. The second is the divider curtain, in which we're paying for a delta between what was in the contract documents and what was proposed by Eric. And then lastly, with the shakeout of a couple of last little minor $1,000 items, which may end up taxing or impacting the CM construction contingency, my last PCO will be to return the balance of the CM contingency, which should result in about a $42,000 credit. So in total there's about let's see, I'm seeing $58,000 potentially coming down off that final swing space contract value.
Fantastic. Okay. So 1 second. So it sounds like we need a, well, before we make the motion, let me throw this to STV. Angela, Marnie, any, have you had a chance to review the PCO documents?
Honestly, we haven't really been involved in the swing space
Okay.
at all. Sorry.
Okay, great. Nope. I guess we were going to move forward. I just didn't know if you had any feedback on it, and I wanted to give you the opportunity. But yeah, I didn't expect you to, so that's fine. So it looks like we're going to have a motion on the floor for approving PCO 5, 6, 7, and 8. Kim, do we have the ability to do all of those together?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay. So it looks like we're going to want and do we have to list the dollar values for each of them?
No, it'll be in the minutes. I'll make sure it's in the minutes.
Okay. So
So
I'm
you
looking
want
for.
me to I'll make a motion that we approve the PCO 5, 6, 7, and 8 to move forward with a formal change order.
Okay. Do I have a
Second, Lindsay.
Fantastic. So we have a motion on the floor from John Cross with a second from Lindsay to approve PCO 5, 6, 7, and 8 as described in the minutes. Any discussion? Okay, let's take a vote. All in favor signify by yay.
Yeah.
Aye.
Fantastic. Any opposed? Great, motion passes. Okay, that was that one. Let's move on to item 2, vote to approve invoices.
Yeah, I'll take that. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 invoices for approval. I did send this out, I think this morning, to all of you to take a peek at it. I've got O&G Industries application 4 for progress payment on the swing space. That's $77,394.83. I have Shipman and Goodwin. That's contract and zoning work, $293. DACO, that's for swing space buses for October, $22,466.40. QA&M, that's construction documents, $285,517.75. And Eversource, portable 5 and 6 electricity, dated 10/29. So I think it was for the month of October, $569.21.
I'll make a motion to approve the invoices as presented by Kim.
Second.
Okay, do we have any discussion? I will open up. We did review the QA&M invoice, very detailed, indicated where they were with respect to the projects. I believe 50% on construction documents, very detailed. Everything's on budget. The next invoice will have the most recent change order added to it. That was the one thing I wanted to just kind of keep tabs on. So that all looked good, Kim. Any other discussion? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Vote to approve invoice passes. Okay, now on to C. Vote to approve third-party reviewers for phase 3. Carson, do you want to take the lead on this since you sent out the little the quote?
Yeah, so I worked with Kim after and the local AHJs trying to get some quotations for the third-party building official review as well as the third-party structural peer review that would be required by for the project essentially to move things forward. The third-party building review is really in essence to assist the local building officials and fire marshals, the local AHJs within Middlefield to review a project of this caliber in the timeline that we're looking at. So probably about a month and a half ago, we met with them in person, with Kim, with Sydney, and various members of the community at that point to kind of go over the process. Ultimately, it's yielded these three proposals that we've been in discussions with. So ultimately, what we need to kind of see tonight is just a general approval of a vendor to go with for both those items to make sure that we can lock them in for the proposed schedule that we have. Because as soon as December 5th, we will plan on be sending them drawings to start their review process in order to meet the timeline that's being proposed at that point. So I think I've worked with Kim in order to just compile the one sheet with the general summary of each of the scope of work for the proposals that are there, that you guys have probably been able to add some comments to if you've had a chance to review. And that's what will be kind of up for discussion tonight with these two particular items.
Great, thank you. I appreciate the summary. There was a flurry of emails going around, and it's nice to see everything separated out. Obviously, our primary concerns are, do they have the skill set? Do they have the recent skill set? Do they have the skill set on the type of project we're doing? And are the people they're assisting comfortable with working with them? Because they're really support for the town officials, correct? I mean, they're really working for them to help them with the reviews.
Correct. Yeah. So they're an asset to the community essentially at that point in order to assist with the overall review. By no means does this absolve the local AHJs of any sort of input requests that they have. They will still be going through their normal building permit process as part of the project. This is just an additional tool and asset to help get through the overall project review, just for the sheer size of the overall school. We find this a lot with a lot of our school projects, and I'm sure Angela and Marnie can also attest to that for the other school projects that they've worked on as well.
Great. Do we have any preference of where we want to start? Do we want to start on the structural and then go on to the code compliance? Is Greg still on? Is Greg still on the call?
I don't see him.
Okay. John, do you want to take the lead on this one, maybe?
Sure. So there's three companies here, Amara, Horton, and Machi. Their names have been around for a while. I've worked probably most with Horton. I think he's definitely, that company's definitely the best, in my opinion, of past projects. And I put a high value on structural design. The other piece is he's done a lot of work like this. I know that for a fact. So if it was me, I certainly would agree to go with Horton in this case. And I think Greg also has similar views as I did, Howard.
Okay. I know, if anybody else wants to add on.
Sorry, the Middlefield building official also weighed in on Horton as well as being favorable to work with.
So I have a question for Rusty or Carson. Is there anything particularly complicated with the structural design for this renovation that would garner a premium for the structural review?
I think the base building is very simple. There are some tricky, modifications that we've had to make to the existing building, and nothing out of the ordinary. But I wouldn't put it into a category of complex structural review design.
What about the shoring up at the entryway? I know you had mentioned that was a concern.
Right. I mean, but that, again, a lot of that happens through the contracting process, but we do, the design is there for what the final outcome needs to be.
Okay.
So in my experience working on school building projects, I've seen all three of these involved in other projects or other construction projects that I've worked on. I agree with John and others that I think Michael Horton has been the most prominent one I've seen in structural designs on recent projects. But as far as my understanding, all three are equally qualified.
And we worked with all three of them as well.
Okay, any other concerns? Obviously, working closely with the building department and being their essentially eyes and ears, we want to make sure that there's a comfort level there. I guess the question is, how much latitude do we have to deviate from the lowest offer or the lowest quote if we feel it's in the best interest of the project?
You can accept, so this is not an RFP, and it's well under our bidding threshold, and we do have the 3 quotes. So, typically you'd say lowest qualified bidder. However, it's best fit too. So if you've got scheduling needs that maybe the others aren't as big of firms or, aren't as familiar with these. So there's other factors that can play into. So you don't necessarily have to take the lowest bidder. You could take the best fit for the district.
So
and
that was my
sometimes
next question. Yeah, I was wondering, we have a tight schedule here. So I don't know the size of these companies, but like I said, Michael Horton seems to be the most prominent working on projects recently. Does anybody know, as far as staff and timing, would there be a specific recommendation of who would be most appropriate to accommodate a tight schedule?
Carson, did you have those discussions with these folks during bid? Who could handle the timeframe?
Yeah, so when I submitted these proposals, we provided for the structural peer review, it was a common form and sheet. So everyone was kind of providing a proposal on an equal playing field. As a supplement to that overall email that I sent out to them, I did identify our overall documentation schedule and timeline that was expected. So all of that was identified up front for them to respond to. I have not seen anything in any responses back that indicated that they would not be able to achieve a review in that time window. But that information was provided to them with the overall proposal for them.
Let me just query STV on this as well. Angela, Marnie, any thoughts on any of this? We have two building, we have the building committee and the elected and our building official both favoring a particular company, which is based on familiarity with their work and recent activity. Any thoughts on your end?
Angela, you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. I agree. Most familiar with Horton. I think we've got some consensus here.
Okay, great.
And then I have extensive experience with both Maki and Horton. And they definitely have the resources to provide a timely review, and then very good experience with Fryer, and they're a pretty big team. So they certainly also have the resources to complete a timely review. So.
Okay. All right. So, on structural peer review, it seems like we are favoring Horton, even though they are the higher price based on past experience with them and the recommendation of the building official. Do we need to take a vote on that, Kim?
Yes, please.
Okay. So based on the discussions, we're looking for a motion to select Horton as our structural peer review vendor.
Yes.
I'll go ahead and make that motion. Make a motion to select Horton as the code reviewer for the structural component.
Second,
Okay.
Lindsay.
Okay, any discussion?
So I'd just like to add that there seems to be a preference, and if everyone is most comfortable with Michael Horton, I think there's a benefit there that warrants the additional cost.
Thank you. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, let's take a vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. Now on to the code compliance scope of work. Carson, once again, do you want to take the lead on just talking to it?
Yeah, so third party kind of building code, fire code review. This covers pretty much anything and everything building and site related from a code standpoint. They'll be providing an analysis from an ADA standpoint, building envelope, electrical, mechanical, fire protection, all of that. That's going to be their main charge at that point. So similar to the structural peer review, the proposals were solicited with a clear understanding of the overall timeline, documentation window, when they'd receive drawings, when we need responses back, as well as clarifying the scope of work that they would be providing, which is high-level summary kind of provided on the summary sheet provided to the building committee at that point.
Okay. And then obviously we have 3 vendors, relatively similar in terms of costs. The big concerns that I see just looking at the comments are familiarity with the OGA process and the OGA reviews, and how, I guess how critical is that, and also, recommendations, and past experience. Obviously, building official experience working with the third-party reviewer is important, but I also want to weigh in all the other factors. So I'll open it up for discussion.
I'll go first. Fryer I've worked extensively with over the years. Obviously, they definitely have the horsepower and they do a ton of schoolwork. So I certainly would recommend them as well. Verstig, I know of them. I haven't done too much with them, so I can't really comment whether they're good or bad. But I know that some of the building officials do like them. So again, I don't have an issue with those folks. I am not familiar with GRU at all. I never worked with them. I can't speak to them at all. My concern with that, some of the comments, is whether or not this would be a challenge for him. Again, we're talking the much larger piece of the code review. So if it was me, I would probably tend to stick with the 2 other ones, either Verstig or Fryer.
So my question on Verstig, one of the comments was he hasn't done a full OJ review in 20 years. Has he done schools? It's really school building codes, familiarity with that type of activity. What are our thoughts?
There seems
well, certainly. I apologize. Let me make my stance clear. If I was going to choose one out of all 3, Fryer is the first choice. Verstig would be a second, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've worked with Joe in the past. I mean, he's really a one-person show right now. So I'd be a little concerned about timeliness, although he did indicate he could do it in time.
Okay.
We've done just the last 3 or 4 projects of ours that were reviewed for the third party. Fryer did, and they did them in the time frame that we assigned to them. So they're very good. They know their stuff. They do schools as well. They're competitors of ours, but so it's good to know that they're going to scrutinize it. I would recommend them.
Okay.
So I just like to say I have worked with Joe Verstig as well. I don't recall him ever doing a review on a school project, but he has worked on many other projects. I think he's very qualified. But from what I'm seeing, I'm not familiar with GRU at all, or Fryer. I've heard of them. But based on what I'm seeing here, there isn't much different in the price. And even though Fryer is slightly higher than the other two, it seems like, based on our consultant's recommendations and others, I would think, in my opinion, they're probably the best selection.
Okay, any other thoughts? Obviously, my concern is making sure that we find somebody compatible to work with the town on there. But I'm obviously open to the collective wisdom of everybody else. Kim, do you recall?
To that point, sorry, Howard.
Go ahead.
No, to that point, Versteeg kind of takes the cake there with the building officials, and that's an important piece, that they're comfortable working with somebody, because ultimately we need their stamp of approval. They didn't chime in on Fryer, so not to say that they're going to have an objection to working with them. I think that working history will go a long way, especially with Pete and the building official both kind of chimed in on Versteeg there.
Can we ask Angela what to think? I think Angela, you had weighed in on Versteeg as well.
Yeah, I'm surprised someone said he hadn't done OGA school reviews. I thought he had.
Yeah, so Angela, that came from my conversation with him when he was clarifying some of the scope of work, where he was just saying that he hasn't done one recently. He has in the past, but it's been some time essentially at that point.
Okay.
But I want to preface this is that I think all three of these individuals that we have proposals from are more than capable of doing it. They're all licensed building officials, kind of have the accreditations to perform the type of review. I think it's just more of the timing, kind of in the manpower behind it. That's for the discussion.
Yeah. So similar to other comments, I know of Greg Grew, I know who he is, but I've never seen him involved in a K-12 OGA project. Maybe Joe's just, everybody's asking him for quotes and he never gets selected, but I feel like he's a common name for these projects. And then Fryer is probably has the best portfolio reputation of this kind of project. So I would agree with what a lot of the other folks have said here.
Okay, so go ahead.
Howard, let me just say, to answer Eric's question concern too. My experience with Fryer, they're good people. They'll get along just fine with the building officials. That won't be an issue.
Okay.
I think more to Eric's point, what we sat with the building official and the fire marshal. It said, hey, give us a few names of people you'd like to work with because we want to kind of choose this together. So I think that's also the check that I have is that both the fire marshal and the building official did say they like Versteeg.
It's a familiar face for them. I think that's important. At the end of the day, we need them to sign off.
Right, but you also have to think that the projects that the fire department and the building inspector here in Middlefield have worked with are very, very small in comparison to what you're looking at now. So they wouldn't need to have a larger person or group to work with. So they're familiar with working with someone with much smaller projects. That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Just my thoughts.
Yeah, and the thing is too, with code review, most of the time it's fine, but every once in a while you'll get a different type of interpretation on certain things that can cause problems in the project. And from my perspective, I don't want any of that stuff to happen. So I'd rather have somebody like Fryer in there because they're more apt to see things similarly to another design team. It's hard to explain, but I've seen a lot of projects get derailed because of some miscode interpretation. So I like the idea that they have, this is right up their alley. This type of building they do all the time. I think they will actually be a benefit to the building department just because of that reason. And Lucy, yeah, it's a bigger project. And I think they'll be more comfortable and after 2 meetings, they'll be very familiar with them anyway.
Okay.
And I think they'll
Great.
like them.
Excellent. I appreciate everybody's viewpoints. I think this gives us a lot of good things to consider. Any other thoughts before we figure out what type of motion we want to entertain? All right. What direction should we look at for the first motion? Do we want to make a motion first for Fryer? Kim, what's your advice?
Yes, and then if that's not the consensus, then it doesn't pass, and then you do the second one.
Okay. And in terms of passing, just majority, right?
Majority, yeah.
Okay. So if we want to get a motion on the floor, this is the time.
I'll put a motion forward that Fryer be the code review for all of the general code items as presented.
Okay. Can I have a second for Fryer Architecture for third-party code review, third-party code compliance?
Second.
Okay, second by Bob Moore. We're going to have some discussion on. I'm sorry. We have a motion on the floor for Fryer Architecture for third-party code compliance. Open this up to any discussion.
I'd like to comment that the fact that QA&M has cited a lot of work experience with them, likes them, and the fact that they are a competitor speaks highly of the fact that the relationship still works. And a little bit of me likes the fact that they're a competitor, so they'll be really sharp-eyed looking at the things so we stay in code.
Okay. Thank you. Any other discussion? Okay, let's take a vote. All in favor of Fryer Architecture for code compliance scope, for the code compliance scope of work, third-party review, signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, any opposed? Okay, motion passes. Great, thank you. That was a very good discussion there. Thank you. I appreciate it. What else is on the agenda?
That'll do it.
That will do it. Actually, do we have another public comment period? Is there any members of the public that have joined either in person or online?
There's no public right now.
Okay.
Hour, you're way under an hour.
Nice. Look at that. 5 minutes shy. Thank you very much. And thank you, Phil, for joining. I hope this hasn't scared you away. So I do appreciate it. And with that, motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you, everybody.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
Thanks,
Good
guys.
night.
Good night.
Night.
Bye.